All right. Hello. Hey, welcome. It's Gary Dehart with Insightful Accountant. And I am just really thrilled that we are kicking off, or we kicked off this month, our premium content offering. And our offering includes, sorry, I have to get my cheat sheet in front of me, but we're calling it Be Insightful. So playing on the Insightful Accountant name, but also, ultimately, as practitioners, we do need to be, or you do need to be, insightful about your firm, insightful about your client base and what they are going through. And Chris, who's here with me, and she'll be talking a little bit about what her sessions are all about. She kind of touches also on just being insightful on about yourself and your overall business. But real quickly, the paid model, what we're doing is we have 9 training tracks. So we have an app comparison track where Murph is going to be leading a conversation about taking different segments of the business, like expense management, and then having other practitioners look at and kind of dissect the various apps in that category. We'll be doing that probably 4 or 5 times a year. We have Janelle Sikora, who's going to be doing niche marketing for firm growth. Then we have Kelly Parks is going to be helping you basically identify and build out a tech stack for your firm. Murph is also going to be covering migrations. Migration is a big deal right now with all that QuickBooks is doing with desktop. So he's going to be looking at what your options might be if you're moving from desktop. Do you go to QBO? Do you go to Zero? Do you go to another larger ERP option? Christine Gervais is going to be covering tax practice, which she's covering a little bit of, she's looking at a variety of things, apps, looking at some of the software solutions, looking at the technology around it. So a little bit of overlap with Kelly, but different. And then we have QB Express is going to be training on how to really sell for your practice and grow your practice through a program that they have to offer. We have human resources being covered by Michelle LeBlanc. Kyle Turriff of RLB Digital is going to be covering practical automations for your firm, because automations are key. Automations can help you gain hours in your day. Chris, I'm sure that's something you talk about, is how do we gain hours in our day so that we can work less, spend more time with our family, or more time on the golf course, or doing things we enjoy doing versus working all the time. And so that's my transition over to Chris. Chris Panek is a CPA, but also a coach. She's a business coach, personal coach, and she's going to be heading up what we're calling our Coaches Corner. So, Chris, thank you. Thanks for sitting there quietly while I kind of did my intro there. But I'm sorry, I think it's important for people to know kind of what the big picture is of what we're building here with our Be Insightful premium content program. So, thank you. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes and just sharing what it is that you're going to be working on, maybe a little bit of your background first, and then what it is you're going to be teaching and leading people through in the premium content program for Insightful Accountant.
Sure, Gary. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And I'm really excited about having the Coaches Corner coming up here for your Be Insightful program. So I am a certified public accountant, like you said, and I'm also a certified coach, and I have over 20 years of experience. And mostly what I do now is, in addition to having my own accounting practice, is I really work with high stress professionals to help them reduce their stress levels and achieve their goals, and then really incorporate more of what they truly want in their lives. Like you said, kind of having that work-life balance kind of going into play there also. I do have a Mastering Your Small Business Finances podcast, which, by the way, is in the top 5% of the entrepreneurship category. So I have to toot my horn there a little bit. And then I also created, yeah, and then I also created a private podcast. It's called Mastering Your Mindset Moments. And that is more geared towards high stress professionals also, to really help them reduce those stress levels and really get more of what they want in their lives. So in the Coaches Corner for Be Insightful, pretty much what I'm going to be doing is giving you like a sneak peek of what it's like to work with a coach. We'll be touching on things like goal setting. And I know probably people will start rolling their eyes. We've set goals many, many times, but in these webinars, the goal setting is going to be a lot different than what you've normally seen, because what we're going to be doing is not necessarily just setting the goal, but really digging deep into why you haven't already reached that goal, like what's going on in there. what you can be doing differently to make sure that you are achieving those goals and making sure that you're setting things up to, like you said, smarter, not harder. But we'll be touching on goal setting, like how to care for yourself, especially during the tax season. We'll be having some segments on that in that area, but really diving deep into finding out like what are the like in the upcoming webinar we're going to be doing is going to be touching on what are the top 3 reasons why you haven't already achieved the goals that you've kind of set. So whether you've already set goals or you're looking at setting the new goal to finish the year strong, that those are kind of the things that we'll be covering in the upcoming webinars.
Find and I don't want to get too deep into this because this really is just about, hey, kind of getting the word out. Hey, here's what you're training. But what do you find is the kind of number one problem? So we're talking about, all right, let's say, well, first off, people that you deal with, do they have goals? Most of them starting out.
Yeah, a lot of times people do have goals. They're either coming to me with, I've been struggling with trying to reach this goal, whether it's something in their personal life or in their business, and realistically trying to dig deeper into why they're not getting it or why they keep giving up, all of those types of things. And I also have people who will not necessarily have a goal, but they almost have like a little vision of what they want to do, but they need to break that down into what are the next steps that they need to be doing. And realistically, what I do with all the clients that I work with is really take those goals and break them down into 30-day increments so that you can focus a lot um, more laser like to being able to reach those goals. And I always tell people it's like we set up a clear path so that you know exactly the next steps to take. Just like if you put in a location in the GPS, it's going to tell you exactly where you need to go. Even if you stray a little bit, it's going to tell you, recalculate, and get you back on track again. Those are the same types of things that we're going to be doing too, is setting that clear path. And if you follow that path, you will ultimately, inevitably reach your goals.
So what do you find is the number one problem? So I've got my goal and I've got my list I could share with you. Um, and I know pretty much why I'm not getting there. And it's usually me because I get
Yep.
distracted or, I get out of my routine. Summer's terrible. Like my wife's a teacher. So during the school year, it's great, right? She gets up, she leaves the house, I work from home. And, my day starts super early during the school year. Summer, it starts a little bit later, have some coffee with my wife. And then it's like, well, I gotta go to work. I don't have time for my goals. Is that pretty common?
It's very common, and realistically, the best thing to do is to come up with a different protocol that you'd be utilizing for during the summer. Because, like you said, when she's teaching, everything is just fine, but then all of a sudden you hit this hiccup, but you haven't really created a new protocol or a new schedule or the new thing that you're going to be doing so that you can still get what you do want through the summer. Also, you might not have as strict of goals or as strict of a schedule. It may be a little bit more loose. And if ultimately at the beginning of the summer, that's what you decide you really want, which a lot of accountants do during the summertime, they have a little bit more time. So they want to be a little bit more free. And that's totally fine as long as that's ultimately what your typical goal is going to be at the beginning of the summer. We just work through that. Not that you're thinking now that, oh, geez, I'm not following what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm failing, all of those types of things will start coming up for you if you start knowing what you want to be doing for at the beginning of the summer and follow through with that. You just know it's just a little bit different. It's a different schedule, it's a different scenario, but ultimately you're getting the things out of life that you truly want.
Yeah. And so through this process and through your coaching practice, I mean, you'll kind of help people lay that out, right? And so it's, like you said, the first goal setting is the one we're doing in August, still finalizing a date on that. Um, but with goal setting and help people go, all right, well, if I don't have goals, well, let's get some goals set. And if I do have goals, let's put those metrics in place to help me get from A to B to C to wherever it is we're headed. So that's
Yeah.
great. So people can visit blog.insightfulaccountant.com. That's where you can see the whole program itself and you can see what we're building out here and obviously join the program so you can participate in Chris's session as well as the follow-up Q&A sessions that we do for all of these 9 training tracks. So Chris, thank you so much. Thanks for just sharing what it is you'll be building out, sharing a little bit about your practice and your background. We look forward to sitting in with you on whatever date it is we finally get settled for in August. So thank you so
Yeah.
much.
I'm excited for the Coaches Corner.